So, Trump was warned the shelves would go empty. Not in a tweet, not through aides, in person. 3 of America's most powerful CEOs, Walmart, Home Depot, and Target, sat across from him in the White House and said it clearly. If he didn't stop, America would run dry. Empty shelves, broken supply chains, trillions at risk. And if he went even further, firing Jerome Powell, Wall Street would follow. He didn't argue, he smiled. The warnings weren't anonymous leaks. They were whispered directly, while the marble floor still reflected the illusion of order. At first, nobody panicked. Stocks dipped. The public kept shopping. The cameras stayed off. Behind closed doors, the meeting began without ceremony. The Walmart CEO spoke first. "Mr. President, the tariffs will starve the supply chain. Shelves will be empty within weeks." Home Depot's chief followed. "This isn't just about prices. It's survival. If Powell goes, the market collapses with him." Target's CEO didn't bother with metaphors. He just said it. "You're risking the economy and the election." Trump looked up, gold marker poised in midair. He smiled like a man who had survived every bad headline by simply refusing to acknowledge them. "I like empty shelves," he said. "Means people are buying. Means I'm winning." The CEOs stared. They hadn't come to negotiate. They had come to plead. They laid out the numbers: $3 trillion in potential retail losses, $7 trillion in market value at risk, tens of millions of American jobs dangling over an open pit. Trump uncapped another marker and began doodling what appeared to be a stick figure riding a missile labeled Tariffs 2025. "You don't understand," Home Depot's CEO said. "If this goes on, it's not just stores closing. It's entire supply lines. Food, medicine." Trump tilted his head. "Sounds like a reset. Maybe we need one." The Walmart CEO leaned in. "There won't be a reset. There will be nothing." The marker squeaked on the plate. Trump added flames to his doodle. They kept talking. Farmers, truckers, holiday shortages, bread lines that wouldn't be metaphors anymore. Trump waved it all away. "Americans are strong," he said. "They can last a few weeks without toothpaste. Might toughen them up. You know, bring back a little frontier spirit." For a moment, one of the CEOs believed him. Not in the plan, but in the delusion. Maybe this was just theater. Maybe Powell would intervene. Someone always did. No one came. Outside, reporters waited. The market flickered. It was still salvageable, at least for now. The CEOs left in silence. No handshakes, no reassurances, no plan. By noon, the rumors hit. Trump was preparing to fire Powell. Tariffs could double. Retailers had begun ration planning. The public barely blinked. They'd seen it before. They thought they had. By nightfall, #empty shelves was trending worldwide. Photos circulated: barren end caps, closed pharmacy windows, flickering freezer aisles. Most were exaggerated. Some weren't. But it didn't matter. The panic moved faster than the facts. On TV, anchors replayed old crisis footage. 2020 bread lines, toilet paper riots, anxious lines under gray skies. It wasn't real yet, but it felt real. And that was enough. In the West Wing, aides pleaded, "Sir, the markets are skittish. Powell's trying to hold the line." Trump didn't look up from his phone. "I'm not skittish. Tell the markets to relax. We're on the verge of recession." He shrugged. "Maybe America needs a good recession. Builds character." Across the hall, someone laughed too loudly. It wasn't clear why. Powell sat alone in his office, drafting 2 speeches. One for survival, one for resignation. He paused, stared at the second one. Maybe the president would change course. He usually did. Maybe the market would self-correct. Maybe. Then his phone buzzed. Trump tweeted at 3:12 a.m. "No recession, full shelves, fake news." Attached, a photo of an empty Kansas Walmart with the caption, "So full." Powell closed his laptop. He didn't pick a speech. He just sat still. Not because he felt safe, but because he finally didn't feel anything at all. The meme economy exploded. Trump photoshopped as a stock boy stacking empty boxes. Powell as a collapsing spreadsheet. CEOs kneeling in a flaming Costco. The Dow opened 1,300 points down. In Missouri, a woman stood in a parking lot holding a $976 insulin receipt. She didn't cry because of the number. She cried because she'd skipped lunch for a week to cover the old price, and it hadn't mattered. In Texas, a manager watched customers fight over shelf brackets. The store didn't sell food, but they kept asking. She didn't know how to say, "It's not coming back." In homes across the country, families turned to each other and stopped asking questions. They just adapted. On the third morning, Trump summoned his social media team. "Fix the optics," he barked. "Make it look like the shelves are full. Photoshop it. Deep fake it. I don't care." "But sir," he stared at them like they'd spoken a dead language. The real shelves didn't wait. Bread vanished. Painkillers gone. The backup gas station was already closed. Walmart begged for calm. Target issued a statement and deleted it within an hour. Home Depot's CEO took a personal leave. No one asked why. The reversal came fast. At 4:44 p.m., the White House issued a statement. President Trump announces temporary pause on tariffs and full support for Chairman Powell. The market soared. News anchors cheered the Trump pivot. CNN called it the masterstroke America needed. Fox ran the chyron. Shelves saved. Leadership delivered. Trump held a press conference in front of a fake Walmart set built by interns who'd never seen one in person. "I saved the economy. Again. I saved Christmas. I saved America. You're welcome." The CEOs returned. They clapped. Quietly. Automatically. A reporter asked what changed. Trump smirked. "Nothing changed. I was always winning. Sometimes you have to take America to the edge, just to show her she can fly." There were no follow-ups. The shelves restocked. The panic faded. The market stabilized. But something stayed broken. Something quieter. Powell kept both speeches. The resignation letter went into a drawer. Not because he felt hope, but because hope had stopped mattering. In homes across the country, people went shopping. They didn't look up, didn't talk, didn't ask. The shelves were full again. But everyone bought just a little more than they needed. Just in case. There was no outrage, no reckoning, just a quiet rearranging of expectations. The shelves were restocked. So were the lies. This is the irony. And that's the irony. So, disclaimer. This video is a work of satire and fiction. It is intended for entertainment purposes only and should not be interpreted as fact, news, or a representation of real events. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental.